And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is the Ninja DC joining again for another reaction video. This time, and finally after a long hiatus, season 7. Starting to get mixed up. Joining me again is Unova.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all takers and such. My name is Unova Brony. I am a Brony here that's really cool colored with orange mane and such. I also have a wonderful accessory such as a gray scarf that has been with me ever since I was a child. I also have with me yellow eyes, a very particular trait that you don't see in many ponies. Combine that with all these other elements of like me being a assortment of 2 swords types, then you have yourself a wonderful and awesome addition to your family home for a price of $120. And now, do you want to get this $12 plushie for $120, or do you want to go for 3 down payments of $199.99 for essentially the whole Unova Brony collection? Come now, come here, come to the 8-Bit Thrift Shop. Sponsored by Totitos.
You have it. Brony is sponsored by Tostitos.
And then following that up, Jen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jen. And unlike Unova, I have 2 faces on my screen. One's of Princess Celestia and one is of Luna looking all really insane. By the way, it's time for season 7, episode 14 for ponies. Boo. Oh.
And second.
Hi there, I'm the Second Opinion, and I also have 2 faces on my avatar. One is a cute little rainbow dash plushie, and one is my actual face looking at it in a manner that some might consider too intense in thought for a subject matter such as this. And that's pretty much what you're going to get tonight here. So, from a critic first and a fan second, this is your second opinion.
Somebody needs to caption that for that picture, I think.
Hashtag give second to caption.
There we go. There we go. Everybody in the comment section, please give seconds avatar captions.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins,
whoever
wins gets a free Unova Brony.
Yeah. Wait, what? You're selling me?
Sponsored by Tostitos.
I was only selling my merch, not my actual article.
Oh, whoops.
Well, too late.
Everyone ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Press play, and everyone have the video up?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay.
Discord lady again.
Hello.
Sorry, Princess Twilight.
Oh.
I see what you're talking about. There's the video glitch at times. That tail and hair color do not mix.
Apparently that was a G3 pony, actually.
Coconut cream, what are you doing? That was meant for my ex-friend.
Ex?
I'm not your ex. You're my
Okay.
And now they don't even care.
So you see, friendship isn't always easy, but
Oh, God.
Oh, memories.
Oh, gosh.
That sounds familiar.
No, wait a minute.
Wow.
Here it is.
How old a book can get after 1 year.
Come on,
Yeah, that's
don't judge a book by its cover. This
pretty
is
old
friendship
for
journal
a
my friends and I used to keep.
1-2-year-old book.
All the things we've learned live.
From season 4.
Friendship isn't always easy, but there's no doubt it's worth fighting for.
Wait, no, that was a season 2 lesson.
I'll judge a book by its cover.
Wait a minute. Did you put the letters in there as well?
I mean, that's the only possible explanation.
My little pony, my little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. Until you all shared its magic with me.
Big adventure.
Gosh, it's been so long since we actually watched that episode.
I know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, after the episode leaks, we were just.
I just did 2 cafe casts in a row on pony episodes.
And purple logo.
My season 7 part 1 review.
The Council of Friendship.
Pony, I've got a surprise for you. What is it, Twilight? Do I need to prepare myself? It's this.
Emma Larson has returned.
Larson!
Yeah, from what I overheard on, is apparently this is a very old pitch by Larson.
Ah.
Oh.
Before he left.
Ew.
Applejack's lessons. Fluttershy's lessons are so
Petit.
Wanted to leave room for all of you.
Oh, so considerate.
I don't even know what this is. It is called calligraphy, darling. Calligraphy! Words at least make
A pony after my own art.
Ah.
Looks like you got a little aggressive with your friendship lessons, Rainbow Dash.
What the?
What can I say? When I learn something, I learn it hard.
I think we've learned we all need writing
Oh
lessons.
my.
Found page.
Oh,
And surprise. The only surprise.
Time for magical restorer spell. All right.
or better yet.
Okay.
Starlight and I decided to make one for each of you.
That's amazing. A perfect copy.
And it's restored.
Years ago, when I needed to make copies.
Starlight is a copy machine.
Manifest.
Oh God! It's a mind control.
Wait, it's what?
It's like basically a Mein Kampf joke about her philosophy back when she was evil.
After Twilight remembered the journal, I had so much fun reading all the stuff you've all learned, I just had to have my own copy. And that brings me to the second part of the surprise, my idea. How would you girls feel about making our journal available for every pony? If we can get these lessons into other ponies' hooves, maybe they'll benefit from them. I think that's a great idea.
So we're getting into book publishing.
We always said we wanted to.
Sounds fabulous.
I'm awesome.
Wow.
Oh yeah, good
I
idea.
think, has Rainbow Dash officially become a caricature of herself yet?
Again, you mean?
And ML Larson stories, yes.
I don't
Whoa,
know. He has
wait a
at least
minute.
one of my favorite
Wait a minute.
Rainbow
That was a
Dash stories.
that was a female tall pony. Interesting.
You mean besides Sassy Saddles?
No, not really. There was more curves to Sassy. This one had it had cheese sandwiches stature, but a feminine face.
Oh God.
Maybe it was a guy.
Hey,
Oh, they're giving me the Pidge treatment.
Why not? You love playing hopscotch.
Oh, hey, Sweetie Belle's voice actress.
Because you always win. Hey, girls. Couldn't help it over here. You might want to take a breather. Maybe read Rainbow Dash's
Again, I
chapter
do
on
not like
Rainbow
their
Colors.
coloration
It might
choices.
help.
It feels like a Gen 2, like a generic Gen
Friendship journals
next
make
gen
us super popular.
thing.
Oh, we were thinking of putting together
Then again, those ponies.
Like
are
next gen,
references.
like when they try to kill off the Transformers in a Transformers movie. They got like next gen versions, which were sort of cruddy looking.
Cutie Mark Camp is a great idea.
Right.
Yeah, but the purpose of the
But they're
journal isn't supposed to
perverting
be
the
marketing.
purpose.
I just hope those foals actually learn something from our lessons. They will. I'm sure ponies all across Equestria will.
Oh God.
What the hell?
Hello. Can I?
That's the stare of a very over.
From Philadelphia because we got copies of your
Oh God!
Oh, wonderful. What was your favorite friendship
Alright.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I guess
Being
so.
a princess didn't get her
What did you think of the
admirers
lessons?
from far and wide, but writing a little book
It was
did.
an on and off again thing.
Oh my God!
Oh.
collectible.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're gonna try to present it as a like this book brings all the trappings of fame they weren't ready for, or something like that. Which they have that as sort of an obstacle to slide past.
I'm seeing sides of these ponies I didn't know were there. I only wish they'd left Rarity out.
Oh my god.
That's like the Applejack jokes.
Did a fine job setting up the Ponyville Days celebration, but does she really believe it was a success just because of her? The nerve.
Oh.
Oh, of course.
No, Rarity. Oh.
The attack. The attack.
That's terrible.
Ponyville Day.
Dissing my favorite pony.
And they're just smiling still. Rarity failed to die and kill them.
I'm going after her. Go ahead. I'm gonna have a chat with these.
Oh, Starlight!
Yeah, mess him
Take
up.
it to him,
Mess
Starlight.
him up, Starlight. Mess him up.
Oh, magic punch! Magic.
Twilight, isn't it amazing? Our journals are everywhere. Pinky, I've got to. Ponies keep stopping by to tell me my entries are hilarious.
Go, Pinky.
I've had some pony come all the way from Las Pegasus to say how much you like my lessons.
Yay!
Some ponies are being inspired by the journal.
Hey, look! There's Pinkie Pie of the
At least you're getting a positive reaction. I just saw Rarity, and I'm afraid this whole journal
Is it
thing
gonna be
really
like
upset
now
her.
they take her as like a big joke or something like that?
Oh no, babe.
Wait, that wasn't even funny.
Yeah, it's already turning into that plot.
Catch you later.
And the moral of this story is fans are stupid. Aw. Okay, now that was pretty cute though.
classic Pinkie. Oh, she's even funnier in real life.
Oh my god.
Well, that last
Okay.
part was pretty funny.
Why is the laugh contagious?
It's time to call it a day.
I whipped out all the Twilight Sparkle lessons because they were getting in the way of
Oh God!
What do you mean skip the lessons?
They were too busy teaching me to speak properly.
Here's a great idea. Highlight for a while, so I can get back to things
Oh.
like working and napping and, well, pretty much anything else.
Huh? We don't want to have bowling lessons.
Hold on, did Rainbow Dash already have to deal with fan clubs?
Yeah, we did.
Oh my god.
Oh God! Everything must be so upset at Rainbow for just letting that information out leak.
Can't get enough of it.
Yeah, Rainbow, you didn't reveal her identity in there, did you?
Uh-oh.
It's just that I really need to get those storm clouds back in their pens.
Oh, cool. We'll come along. You
Oh God!
I don't know. I still feel like it's a manageable situation. Just like, yeah, okay, these are my hours for meeting with fans. Meet me in the
Right.
confines of those.
Oh God! Fluttershy!
Fluttershy,
Oh,
what's
gosh.
wrong?
We want answers.
Yeah, we're entitled to know.
What?
What is it, every pony?
We want to know why Fluttershy keeps learning the same thing.
And Emma Larson shatters the fourth
Oh
wall.
my god.
Really? Are you attacking my friend because you want to be in a book? It's okay. I got this, girls.
All right.
Listen up. I am more suited. And yes, it took me a while to I didn't think so.
Yeah, and actually, that I do agree with that. That's one criticism of Fluttershy I never really bought into.
Feel about that.
Gosh!
It feels like every pony in Equestria is missing the friendship part of the
And
friendship.
criticizing every single part of their lives or hanging on to every word.
Wow.
Are you alright?
So bad.
Oh God!
What are you
Because
doing?
fame is so important. Why do people even want it at all?
Holy crap.
Just sewing.
Rarity's gone nuts.
Cafe, I suddenly understood why I've been getting cancellation.
What? Your business is failing?
Oh my gosh.
Hold on a second.
Oh gosh.
You said they were boycotting her?
Isn't a
Oh god.
Oh no!
Not kind of boycott that fast because some people criticize.
Applejack.
I need 100 blankets, and I need them now. Sorry, Twilight.
What's gonna go on?
Applejack?
I'm popular, Twilight.
Oh, so the reverse problem for AJ fans. God. Crazy. Oh no.
Wait a minute, they're all taping on Apple cutie marks.
Oh
What
god.
in the world?
Wow. Tree huggers.
Whoa.
They want nothing but business.
Moochers.
Oh god. That's their own cutie marks that they made.
Who are all these ponies?
They call themselves the Sweet Apple Admirers. They say they read my journal entries and they felt like a part of the family.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh god.
And the selfie,
Bossy.
of course.
Yeah, you know.
Selfie
stuff
pony.
about how friends are like family and whatnot.
Can't you get rid of them?
Kick out my own family?
Oh god.
As sweet as that is, I feel like
That's
This feels a
crazy.
little forced.
It's insane.
it doesn't exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And my
Happen.
life is riding at its insaneness.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, no, like I get fans are like
Okay.
overzealous and sometimes big knuckleheads, but I mean,
Oh boy.
if you're gonna make a
Window
story out of
style,
it,
huh? Was it that bad at Sweet Apple Acres? It's bad
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh god.
Oh no.
There's so much anti-friendship.
Anti-friendship.
Twilight, it's not your fault. Of course it's my fault. If I hadn't had that big idea to make copies, none of this would
like
be
you either have to
happening.
go full parody or
Made life
full
awful for my friends.
serious rendition. I feel like it's trying to have it both ways right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god, those hoodies!
What?
I didn't know where else to go.
They're wearing
So much
hoodies.
cooking and cleaning and family and to do. I ain't got time for anything else.
These ponies aren't laughing every time you talk. Not even I want to be funny all the time. I'm telling you, my days of hilariousness are over.
Curiosity.
Oh, granted, she has a tough time helping it sometimes.
But I can't even go to the bathroom without some pony trying to tell me how cool I am.
It's like multiple Scootaloos.
Birdie, what are you
Oh god!
I don't know what I'm gonna do if I have to defend myself.
Oh god!
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
extremely irritable Fluttershy.
Rarity.
Oh god,
Okay, so
Fluttershy.
maybe they are having a hard time with it. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Yes, I
Oh.
did. Releasing the journal was my idea, and it backfired in ways I could never have imagined. It's not your fault. It's every pony else's. They're just focusing on the wrong things. And wait here, I've got an idea.
Oh.
I can't wait any longer. I've got to fix this.
Eh. Oh.
Every pony, please stop!
Uh-oh.
Twilight, I'm with the Canterlot Chronicle. Quick question. What would you say to ponies who wonder why you moved to Ponyville in the first place?
What?
I moved here to learn about friendship. That's why the journal even exists. It took some time for me to get the hang of it, but it was each of these ponies standing next to me who taught me the lessons in those journals. Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Fluttershy too. Then it was all of you. I've learned so much from...
What I mean is, some ponies would argue that it doesn't seem believable that Well, sure. I read this journal cover to cover, and I have to say, your character would have been much more interesting if she'd stayed in Canterlot.
What?
Yeah, okay. It's a brony metaphor.
them.
Oh boy.
Are we really supposed to believe she learned anything she wrote in there?
What?
Why you wanna be team?
Oh no! No!
Oh,
please,
yeah.
no! I'm sorry, team.
Already so cool. Twilight was better before she got.
wow.
I'm going to die! I'm going to die!
Oh no. What in the hell?
Oh god!
Listen to me.
Ultrasound?
I never claimed to be perfect. My mistakes are all written in ink. None of us claim to be perfect, and it's sad if that's what you all think. Our flaws help to make us special. They bond us and keep us strong. Our flaws are what brought us together. So stop acting like something's wrong. We're not flawless. We're a work in progress. We got dents and we've got quirks, but it's our flaws that make us work. Yeah, we're not flawless. We're a work in progress. So tell me what flaws you got too. 'Cause I still like what's flawed about you. They say I'm a big shot, that my ego's the size of a whale. Cocky, but it gives me the courage to fail. Sure, I can be a drama queen. Up, it's true. And I can be too eager to please. Too honest, too, 'cause we're not.
Actually, I don't know if that one's the problem people usually have with Applejack.
Yes! No,
Even the biggest complainers.
no, it's not at all. Oh god.
Well, it is a very nice song, I will
Yeah,
say.
it is.
Ponies think I'm all bubbles and laughter, that I don't seem sincere. I might joke around a little too much, but I'm just so happy you're here. It took me a while to be confident, to really come out of my shell. But no pony has to be perfect. By now, don't you know us so well? Because yeah, we're not flawless. We're a work in progress. We got dents and we got quirks, but it's our flaws that make us work. Yeah, we're not flawless. We're a work in progress. So tell me what flaws you got too. 'Cause I still like what.
Well, there's one flaw, you used that shot already.
Yep.
Again! Let's complain about the reusing of animation to music song
You
sequences.
see, every pony? None of us ever claimed to be perfect. Without our flaws, there wouldn't be any friendship lessons to learn.
Is that a metaphor for the ponies or for the
There
writers?
wouldn't be any friendships at all.
Well, the ponies.
Oh, come on!
Our
Okay.
song
This
sequence
is too
didn't
much. Okay,
affect
this is
us.
too much
Sensing
slice of
cynicism
life.
here.
So
This is too much slice of life.
found two ponies who have something I think.
Oh, those two?
We just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Yeah,
Hmm.
our friendship? Well, we were having trouble until we read your journal. It showed us that friends can go through all sorts of tough times and come through stronger than before. It's made us better friends than we've ever been.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't tell you how much it means to hear that. Thank you for telling us. We've had a tough couple of days.
As you can
Knowing
see,
you
it's
have friends
the
like you,
The little kid
helping the
audience.
little kids that make it all worth it. So, I suppose we can put up with you guys.
Oh, God.
Oh!
And we can't change the way other ponies think about us, but we can change how we let it affect us.
Or how we don't let it affect us. Go ahead,
That was a typical pie face gag. I'm taking you
Oh,
guys.
that was cute.
I mean,
You'll have to deal with them.
and there's a lot of guys.
Stay in the friendship moment, Apple.
Wow.
See the fucking
Oh my
moment.
gosh.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Wow.
I was gonna come in with this episode with a bit of commentary about like this comparing it to like another season, but now I just got all this new information now.
Oh. Well, Angry Stranger Than Fanfiction was an interesting episode.
You know what? At least you know what? At least there was no quibble.
Oh God! Imagine if Quibble was in the background.
Oh my God! I would have lost my mind. I would have been like, "No! I thought we left you in the glue factory."
Literally every pony without a name in the episode was a Quibble Pants.
Yes. So it's even worse than your worst of nightmare, Jen.
even after the moving song, they still went back to that.
Well, I mean, that part is totally true, bronies.
That is too much real life here. That is too much real life. You see, I go to my cartoons to escape real life, not to be reminded of it.
Real life. Like, it's funny that we mentioned about Quibble Pants, since I was going to mention how this episode kind of highlights how similar it is to season 6, and even in placement, since episode 14 was, in fact, Stranger Than Fanfiction.
Just like,
it was like Stranger Than Fanfiction part version 2, I think.
Part version.
Angry Stranger Than Fanfiction.
And
Yeah, I mean, I feel like preface this, I guess I could see the backlash to this being like, oh, what, you want to put the bronies in their place, excuse us for giving you work and making your show a huge success, but it's like, okay, no, the writers are, well, the writers are not necessarily the same thing as the marketing team and such, and I mean, it's
right.
Like, it's certainly pretty venomous, but like, okay, Venom can create interesting things. There are so
just like the Marvel character.
Yeah. This was definitely a more notable jab at the fans, but this was this was a little bit of a harder jab to the fans.
Like, okay, I feel like, well, on the downside though, I do feel like Stranger Than Fanfiction was cleverer than this episode. Like, this is kind of like the missing link between Stranger Than Fanfiction and Spice Up Your Life. Like, okay, it's not just like total straw manning. Like, okay, it's definitely mad at a real and feasible enemy, and on that, and like a lot of these are dead on. Like that last part, he's totally right. Bronies are never going to stop doing what they do, and you're not going to distract them from it for long. But I mean, it's like, okay, it has that. It does not have a what should we call it? Well, I guess in a nutshell, it doesn't have a clever answer in mind. Like, okay, it's like it knows what its enemy or it knows what it's aiming at. It doesn't exactly know what to throw. I mean, it tries like some of the empty platitudes. It tries the screw you. It tries the well, okay, I guess it's worth it if we inspire the little girl. Like, I suppose we can put our fingers in their ears and put up with them, but I mean, like, especially in the context of the, well, no, I take that back. It might be more of a solution in the context of the episode than in the context of the broader moral, but I mean, yeah, like, Stranger Than Fanfiction's thing, like, okay, there's there's an upside and a downside to characters like Quibble Pants, but I mean, I feel like we can make moves such as this to get along. Like, that was a solid conclusion. That was and the episode all the way up there, like, built to it in a lot of fun and clever ways, like the upside and the downside of a Quibble Pants type. But I mean, okay, if you're just mad and you're trying to deliver a gut punch, it's like, okay, you know, that, like, sometimes, like I said, Venom can create interesting things, but I mean, yeah, you almost can't be too like self-righteous, because there is a point where it's like, well, okay, you are choosing to stick around and
Right.
write this and such, and I mean,
Right.
so, and you can't use like empty platitudes and stuff, because people are only gonna, I mean, unless you're Mother Teresa or something, people are only gonna believe you're so self-righteous. So it's like, yeah, I feel like I don't know, it's a somewhat cynical, somewhat venomous episode that maybe could have used a little more direction.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. If I may make my point here, this
Go for
episode hit very much a lot of highs that I had with a Royal Problem and the Yaks episode, but even it even went far beyond like those points of episode in which I felt like the hugest amount of entertainment. I just constantly laughed at it, but like parental guidance, it kind of, the flaws were like in certain criticisms that I couldn't agree. Like, wait, where did this sort of criticism came from for like Applejack? Or where did this criticism come for like Rarity, since it's no longer season 1? I mean, those were early season 1 complaints about Rarity.
Wow.
But I mean, the ironic thing is, like, a lot of the stuff this episode, a lot of the complaints this episode singles out and tries to take down, like, I do kind of agree with it. Like, okay, yeah, those should be taken down. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm totally guilty of like, okay, being like, yeah, discontented with the show as it goes on and wanting to, throw my hat into the ring, make myself heard on what I thought. But it's like, it's almost funny. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the big song about how the flaws are the very things that make these characters good. I kind of agree with that. In fact, I think, okay, if you're trying to, like, strike back at me, you should be talking about how I'm saying, like, yeah, they're too bland, not focusing on the flaws enough. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it wasn't supposed to be like any particular like trend. You know, maybe it was just supposed to be the complaints he's heard show up more than once. But I mean, I just thought that was interesting.
Right.
Also, like, continuing on, like there's definitely points of the episode in which I could say, like, if you exclude like the rest of the episode, it would literally be mean, wordy comment threads that even I, as someone who doesn't even get into memes, would have been like, this episode was made for the internet age. Like, the amount of virability this episode now has, it's just like, send this to a person who didn't know how far meta this show could get, and then be like, what the hell? My brain explodes. But continuing on, where it's like, I kind of felt like a bit weirded out, like in the way of like Starlight's role in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw her with Twilight in some instances, but then when Twilight sent her out, and it just felt like it wasn't really like, she wasn't really like altogether like not very viable, except for like bringing out like those two ponies that were still constantly having like friendship issues.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they were about to like really become ex-friend for real. But it's like, I felt like that plot point was very away. Well, I mean, like, say like the season 7 episode with Rarity and Sweetie Belle, like that A plot and B plot comparison, while it wasn't as interesting, it was still very shown clearly like how it was progressing. But I felt like it was way too out of the cuff from the main focal of the screen, while it was focusing majorly on the A plot so much that I didn't really felt any sort of like emotional connection or reward for like all that heartache and headache that Twilight and the others had.
Right.
With, like, this whole mission of like sending a book of like good morals in order to help educate the people on how to become better friends, and them just thinking about it as just a means of like entertainment or a means of collectability, fan merchandise, or make it into like something that it's not, which is weird because the Brony fandom at the initially was all about like exhibiting and accepting the morals of the show and such, which makes this whole thing become a gigantic straw man argument, which while it acts itself realistically, it really falls when you break the thing apart completely. And it kind of, and if they continue on, it almost feels like what Teen Titans Go tried to do with the 50th episode about Slade. And I just don't want any reference to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, well, I mean, on one hand, this episode did push aside the notion of like, okay, what are the ups and downs of fame, or like, how can this go wrong? It just, I mean, like in context, there's not a whole lot of balance there. It's just like, no, all of these ponies have the wrong idea. They're unbelievable knuckleheads. How could anyone be this much of an unbelievable knucklehead? But I mean, okay, so it's venting. But I mean, that said, you know, heck, I'm not a writer from this show, like, going suddenly, which is a writer for an animated show is a relatively low-key role, and you know, now like people want you to come to conventions and know your name, and granted I can't imagine that being particularly like you have an option there, but what's up? Well, anyway, but yeah, I mean, heck, I'm not a writer from the show. I'm not getting probably countless emails and Twitter comments from people who want to make themselves heard, want you to acknowledge them and acknowledge, what they think should be heard, like their vision of this show, or their thoughts on it, like, yeah. And I mean, heck, even the fact that like some people try to be more reined in or more reasonable, like people say different things. There's no way it can not blur together after a while. So pretty much, if you're in the Brony fandom, you're gonna fall into the demographic he's talking about, unless you literally never say anything. So it's like, okay, I mean, I could see why he'd have like something to vent about here, being like, irrevocably singled out by this and that can be interesting, but I mean, on the flip side, I guess kind of like what I was saying before, it's like, okay, but I mean, you know, a message can't like take over a story, just like, okay, it still kind of has to, you have to make it work in context on some level, making the ponies just like, jump from, okay, we're sending out to the journal to everyone goes insane, like that, it comes across like it's eager to get to the venting.
It's like all the townsfolk / visitors all essentially become literally the Brony fandom in this comparison, which it really doesn't work when it should have been a lot more like a vocal fan base that was like targeting them specifically and was like possibly annoying everyone else. Like, I felt like if they displayed it like that, then I could maybe take it with a bit more of a grain of salt then.
There's a part of me that kind of appreciates that it doesn't pull its punches. I mean, I feel like, you know, like everybody has some opinion. Like I said, I mean, like I said before, I feel like if you're one of these writers hearing this, it all kind of blurs together after a while. I mean, there were ponies who just wanted to be fans of Rainbow Dash, but I mean, Rainbow felt like it was nonstop, and in the writer's case, it's probably just like occasionally, like anyone shows up more than once, they probably just do it like occasionally, but you know, you get enough people together doing that, it's gonna feel nonstop.
And then like Rainbow probably should have gone like parental guidance on them if it got to like a boiling point there. Just saying. Like, please give me my space. I need to actually relax, or else I am just not going to be 100%, okay? Oh, it's just like,
Yeah, I feel this episode had good ideas, but like overall, I'd say it was a good episode. Especially had some good points, but like I felt the plot felt forced a lot of the times. Where just like, we're like, oh, let's just publish our little journal entries and that'll be a best-selling book. It's like that really wouldn't read well, like at all, and just like the way the stories are told, like it just.
Well, I mean, personal diaries and such have been published. It
would have been more sense if like Twilight like used those to write an actual book or something like that. That like let's take a bit like this is a straight up copying like the note like Nerds in a Journal is like okay.
Well, I mean, there have been books published by people who know very little of like the basic rules of spelling and grammar. It's just like almost writing it as like an open verse poetry where but have sold reasonably well because it creates sort of their own character voice. And I mean, and granted, like the odds that all of the main six would pull that off are pretty slim, but I mean, if it's someone you want to know about enough, like, feeling like you're actually hearing their inner thoughts could probably supersede whether those thoughts are phrased particularly well. I mean, they are all celebrities who have done, well, on some level anyway, who have done some pretty incredible deeds. I'm sorry if I lost everyone there. You got me.
It's cool. It's fine.
You'd be surprised how little I get to talk about anything I've had to go through in the like half a dozen literature classes to get a degree.
Yeah, I get you.
All right, but I guess let's get everyone's overall thoughts on this episode.
My final thought is that this was way too slice of life. This was slow. This was so slice of life. It was scary. And I can't say it's a good episode, but I can't say it's a bad one either. It's an episode that was like that'll just left you with kind of a pit. I don't know, a pit in the not a pit, like an uneasy feeling. It was an uneasy episode, honestly. But I think it's because of the subject matter. It was covering pretty much. Because as I said before, I think this was a stronger kind of jab at fans, though. It also felt like there were some. I don't know. In some cases, it felt like I'm thinking somebody had to air out their grievances in this. Somebody in there had some bad fan experiences, and they're airing it out through this episode. I don't know. It just again, it's a stronger jab to the fandom, and while that isn't, and while I can't really say that. Oh, that's wrong because fans actually really do act like that. It's a yet another jab at the fandom. It's like, we love you guys, but you're kind of nuts.
Which, although this time possibly without the "we love you guys," it's more like
this was more like you guys are. This was more like okay. This is more like, you know what, you guys are annoying.
Yeah. Like the closing note is more like, could be worse.
True, definitely. I think this was trying. I think for some reason, I remember one of us, I don't know if it was you, Second, or somebody said that Larson is really good at writing like slice of life episodes. And I don't remember. I just saw Larson's name in it, but I don't remember if he's the actual principal writer or not. Feel free to correct me if I am. If he's not, But I don't know. If he is, then I'm like, okay, once again, he's shown his prowess for writing slice of life. I'm like, okay, this is a little too good. Too good for that. But this is an episode that I would actually, truthfully, I would only watch it again just for the song. Now, the song, however, The song, however, was really good. The song was good. And still not, I don't know, for some reason the songs I think are starting to lose a little bit of, I don't know, that magic, but I don't know, but good in all of it. The only reason, again, the only reason I would watch this episode again would just be the song, and then I'd turn it off immediately because the rest of the subject matter just, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well. But that's my thought.
For me, I actually have a bit of conflicting opinions about the song. Like, I wish like in this reaction there would have been a face cam, at least for me, because during the entire song my mouth was just gaping open. Like, what the absolute hell? Like the way the pony sang it was fantastic. Like of like this the old stories, you know. But then it just the message behind it was just so blatant, was just so fourth wall out of nowhere. I was just like, my continuing enjoyment stream of like this episode was just like, I don't even know what to think or even feel. The song was sung good, but the idea of the song, I don't know whether I don't like it or I just don't know how to respond to it or internalize it. Because I get the general concept. We are not flawless, but
we're works in progress. So that's a good, I like that chorus line. So that was a great lyric.
Oh yeah, like works in progress. I'm like, saying it as if you guys still have like 3 seasons and you probably do have 3 or more seasons on you.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. I'm just like, oh God.
I was waiting for somebody for the song to stop and be like, Twilight is like, you're not flawless, you're works in progress. Twilight, you're an alicorn. You're an alicorn. Flawless, and you say you're not flawless. You're a freaking alicorn.
Oh God.
You're a freaking alicorn. I was ready to be like, I'm sorry, we're calling BS on this.
And I was just like, and the one thing I was hoping this episode to do was just automatically tackle Starlight, even if for one jab, but nothing came.
I mean, yeah, people are after Starlight a lot more than they're after the main 6, I feel like.
That's just insane.
Wow.
Well, Applejack is like the one, Applejack and Twilight are the ones most targeted by currently in the seasons up to season 6 and 7 right now.
Right.
Starlight, well, I feel she took a lot of hits in 6 and at the very end of 5. Applejack, I mean, other than people don't like that she was mean and hard to say anything, I haven't heard her take too many hits lately. I feel like they almost got tired of the complaint where she's like, AJ is a background pony.
I hate that joke.
Yeah, it feels like some of the character, like the way they were portrayed, were some were actual character complaints, like with Rarity and Fluttershy, while others are just representing fandom as a whole, like how Rainbow Dashes were just overly obsessive, and like for AJ, they wanted to be part of the family.
Oh yeah,
and like so, like it felt like they're just, and then there's the whole like nitpicking, which is like you were better without the wings sort of thing.
Oh my God!
With that, I had to applaud there. I have to agree with some of their statements. I mean,
granted, that one's true, but that just is what it is. Only one sequel can be the best one.
That somebody is definitely just airing out their grievances. It's like their purpose. This just, I take back. This isn't a jab. I think this is like, we're gonna make fun of you. There's no humor in this. We're just gonna make fun of you because of what you've been saying to others or to us or on the forums. We're just gonna make fun of you. I mean, there's no humor. I take that back. It's not a jab at all. They're just gonna flat out make fun of you.
It's basically a roast that's unrestricted. Is that what you're saying? Like,
it's a roast. Thank you. It's a roast. Thank you. That's it. It's not a jab. This is a fan roast.
Yeah, actually,
I mean,
I think that does summarize. I was just saying, I think that actually is a good summary. Like, this sort of is a fan roast.
Yeah, this is a fan roast. And I got to say, if this is a roast, I mean, well, you know what? What can you say? I mean, yeah, there are fans who do act like that, but I don't know. I mean, does anybody feel disrespected a little bit, or is it just being too sensitive? You know, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm disrespected. You know,
I don't think it's a matter of being too.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's a matter of being too sensitive. I mean, that's what you took from this episode.
Well,
And I feel like a lot of other people will definitely share your sentiments.
Right.
I feel like this episode is literally going to be the most divisive ice block of highly entertainment. I feel like it's going to be even more divisive for like the Larson episodes and even Slice of Life at this point.
Yeah. This one got way too. Yeah, I mean, Slice of Life, the Slice of Life titled episode. Yeah, that was like the pinnacle and everything. And now here it's just like, I don't know, falling action. I'm like falling action and such, you know, like really. But I guess like I don't know. For some reason, I just felt just a little. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Again, this one just makes me uneasy. You know, it just makes me uneasy.
Do you think it would have been as bad if it would have shown more of the good with the bad? That would have made it.
Yes. It would have felt a little better if you showed the good with the bad. Yeah. But this one was just, you know, it seemed like they focused on just. They only focused a little bit on the good, and it was those two little foals it was those two little foals in the beginning.
Which target demographic,
right?
The original target demographic.
Yep.
Which was basically like, yeah, look how small you guys are compared to a lot of the adult fans here. And how you generally appreciate it, though not everyone shares your sentiment in the target demographic. Like, say, some of the target demographic has probably been absorbed by the Brony community at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, we had Stranger Than Fan Fiction, like I said before, which did the two-sided thing, and I mean, that, I guess the difference is clear there. And like I said, the writers are different from
earlier,
the show staff, the producers, etc. I mean, you could make the argument that Larson's thoughts here are his own compared to whoever it was that wrote Stranger Than Fan Fiction. I believe it was that guy who didn't come back. Starts with M. Well, I could look it up later. But, which, now that I think about it, though, like the Brony fandom, it might be the most argumentative. Like, I mean, as far as Brony fans also tend to be animation fans, though, and like, you see people in the Rift Cafe where Nova and I are, a lot of places. I mean, they'll talk about all the different shows, but MLP, it ends up being the one that is debated the most and that divides people on the directions and such the most. And part of me feels like the sad truth of that might be that as compared to the other big hit animation shows, it might be just starting to tail the quality of Steven Universe and Adventure Time and you look at Steven Universe, you get some backlash like, oh, the first 20 some episodes were just running in circles. That was nothing. Oh, it takes too long to get to the real plot. But I mean, those
a lot of people still hate the Beat City episodes.
Yeah, but I mean they kind of come and go. I mean, now we just have a Stronger Than You. We just got a Stronger Than You music video with that had plenty of fans wearing the tagline shirts and cheering for it, and we just had a new set of episodes that has everyone foaming at the mouth over how great it was. And I mean, and actually, I thought there were more than enough bronies going like, oh no, it only gets better. Every single season is better than the last one. It is beautiful. Like, we just had the best episodes ever. But I mean, okay, no, there is a lot of bickering among the brony fandom, and like with the slight decline in viewership, and I will freely admit it's like partly my own personal opinion how like it becomes a little more hit or miss. I feel like, yeah. Well, actually, I feel like the main thing is it might be it might have some more trouble finding direction than a lot of those other shows. Like, I mean, I felt like it had a pretty clear image of what it wanted to be starting out, and then when it changed story editors the first time, Megan McCarthy, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of what she's about was summed up by her quote that it's every girl's dream to be a princess, even though not all of them can be one. And I felt like she did hit her stride there. Like, I felt like there was still direction when she first took over, but like, okay, the problem with that was there was kind of an end point. Okay, she becomes a princess. She takes full possession of her role as princess, and then what? And then season 5, like, well, then everything is just spreads her perfection, and then maybe it's somebody else's turn to learn the lesson. But yeah, that was kind of a half-formed vision, and I feel like that's what we've been on from then to now, where, yeah, letting new story editors see if they can, like, okay, start a new direction. Not like, yeah, I feel like Lewis and Sonko, I'm interested to see in seeing what they're doing, granted, but I feel like, okay, that's kind of besides the point. We have, it's trying to sort of find its direction, and that's going to leave fans looking in a lot of different places for what they're interested in, and saying a lot of different things about who should be what, and what should be the focus, and what's important and what's not, and what they want to see. And yeah, so, okay, that, I mean, I guess what I'm saying in a nutshell is the fact that, yeah, this show has a fandom prone to bickering might be a little bit on the show itself. Which, and I mean, granted, like, you know, fandoms are always going to be entitled on some level and petty on some level, no matter what they're a part of. I mean, like, yeah, people always feel like they have some ownership over the celebrities they follow, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's celebrity culture. It's kind of petty, but I guess it is bigger in the Brony fandom.
Well, I mean, bigger in like the whole wide fandom aspect, I would say yes, but bigger in the volatile position, like, not so. But I feel like
Bronies have gotten pretty volatile.
No.
Believe me, I know.
Hold up. I'm getting to that. I'm just going to say, like, this episode might be hard to watch, but it might literally be like a time capsule of like the 2010s fandom behavior era, you know? Like, I feel like it can be like entertainment, like in the first few times you watch it, and like when you rewatch it over, I feel like what's going to be the huge takeaway is like the jerk fans are probably going to be laughing at it at a satirical sense. Like some of the more sensitive fans might be like might really not want to rewatch this episode again. But while like other fans will make their own decision on whether or not they like this episode or not. Like when I first saw like this episode was going to be divisive, the quality is there. It's just which sort of people will accept it. That's going to be like a very big dividing line. And I feel like right now in like season 7 for like the show stuff to do this right now, it's kind of weird. Like they're trying to get away from like the possible like seasonal rut by just going exclamational with like their connection and such, like how they were able to do so via conventions and such, which is why I feel like they didn't mean this like intentionally like negative, because they've been shown like as very friendly like in the past and like in press releases and such, which is why I have my full trust with them about why they would make an episode like this, and how I feel like they meant it for it to be a joke, and they did it in like in a very risky way in which like some people will take offense to it. But
well, I mean, Well, I mean, granted, I feel like in a lot of ways, the staff has been appreciative, but kind of like I said before, I feel like on some level, each writer speaks for themselves, brings their own vision to the table. And actually, M.A. Larson is people like he's throwing in a lot of shout outs. I feel like on some level, people have given him a lot of credit for trying to, be appreciative towards the Brony fandom. But although, we got not one but 2 episodes last season about, people who are critical, like actual critics or critical fans or whatever. I mean, I feel like there are signs that, they hear us and are
I think it
white noise.
I think you're confusing it with like one episode focusing on critics while the other episode focusing on fandom and critics.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were written by the same guy. Important to note.
Michael Vogel.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, heck, the analysis community is probably, well, for one, it's obviously the most vocal part of the fandom, and I don't know. And granted, I guess the fan-made projects, a lot of them grow bigger, but I mean, I feel like if I were part of the show staff looking into, what the fandom has done, I mean, I feel like what the fans are saying about you yourself, those writers and such, would get some attention. So, anyway, but anyway, my final thoughts, okay. Yeah. Getting to that long last, like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, well, I can see how people would want to praise this episode, or at least not be too hard on it, just for sort of the what is it, the Streisand effect. Like, I'll say I'm not affected by this episode. I thought it was fun. Those fans pretty well who I am so clearly not a part of, like, that sort of praise it as a way to show you're totally or hurt by it. Like, if I'm being totally like honest though, I'm kind of like at an in-between point. Like I mean, I can't say it's that great an episode, because I mean, like I said, we saw firsthand how Stranger Than Fan Fiction did it better. Like it's not quite as clever an episode. It doesn't have like quite the same level of humor. I mean, I guess you guys laughed harder than I did at some of the jokes, but I mean, yeah, it's not very two-sided. It's like, I mean, heck, in the context of the episode, we see that with how instantly everyone is just like blown up to 11. So, and it doesn't, and I mean, there's not a lot of give and take there. So yeah, I can't say it's a great episode. I can't be like dismissive towards it either, because a lot of these what it's hits at with the things that fans like this say, and just like the venom, and I mean, a lot of it does feel kind of real, kind of identifiable. Like, I mean, with the ponies going on about all the stress they feel to please. I mean, I do feel like there's some earnest expression going on there, and I mean, the critic in me appreciates that. I can't be too condescending towards it, like, oh, whine at somebody else, because okay, I'm not the one experiencing this. I'm not getting I can only assume countless emails about this, and just, like, Twitter comments always having to call you out, always trying to force you to acknowledge my way of thinking, or my way of thinking from hundreds of fans. And I can't be too sympathetic towards it either, because I'm like, oh, poor you. You have a successful career writing episodes that fans continually want more and more and more of. So I mean, honestly, I'm like, part of me is like, cute. That was, yeah. Aren't you and your Venom, or I mean, that does sound kind of condescending, actually. Like, aren't you cute? But I mean, no, it's like, I almost can't be too bothered by it. I mean, I'm used to this kind of thing by now. It's kind of like a, it's kind of, well, actually, I brought up parental guidance before, and that could be a worthwhile comparison. Like, you could make the argument that it doesn't even entirely succeed at what it set out to do, like in the context of the story, but there's a lot there that, I mean, is certainly novel and interesting, and I can't be like, like so mad at it that I don't appreciate any of that. So yeah, I'd say like a B minus.
For me, like, this episode made me rethink a lot about like what I was thinking about for myself before. Like, made me think about like how I was thinking about like episodes or critiquing them, as it were. And I almost felt like the way this episode made me felt like if I split it off into three things was like entertainment level. They were very much sky high off the roof because of like the amount of like characters that went 11 and beyond, essentially, was just something that was just too hilarious for me to not consider. The characters slash like a moral integrity of like the characters, I felt like were very trying, while some characters I felt like were acting rationally or sensibly, like say Applejack, for example, or weren't really explained very well in the context of the episode. Like say, I kind of felt that way with Pinky, with her idea of a conflict, and like even in her song segment, she felt like it felt like you might think of me as like a joke machine. Well, that was what I got from like the song, but it like I felt like we could have gotten a little bit more with like the characters here. Maybe not like to like the depths of like some of the best episodes, but just maybe just a little bit more. But like the moral integrity of this episode, it's quite middling right now, because like some of the people will definitely take this moral and do whatever they want with it. Other people are just not going to take this moral and feel like they really want to fight against whoever thought this was a good idea. Just like it really has scrambled me, and I felt like I definitely want to rewatch this episode immediately, like as soon as like the podcast is over, and watch it like a multiple times just for me to get like my final bearings about it. Like this is what Emily Larson does here. But for right now, is just saying this episode is right now kind of in between what I would have considered a mid-tier and a good episode in my old scale. But yeah, I just really loved it. And I agreed with some of the statements, yet was jaw-droppingly like shocked and very confused about what am I supposed to do with these feelings that I don't know what to do with them. Because just I felt like, oh man, now they could see like what has been going on in some parts of the Brony community as of late, how they sort of deviled and such. But it's just, that's it. I'm ending off my piece here.
So, as you can see, Unova knows exactly what he thinks and has no hesitation whatsoever.
No
expressing it.
hesitation. None at all. Jen? Here?
No, she's muted. But just to get my final thoughts before we close out.
Oh, we're. I had the mute button off. Oops.
Oh,
Shoot. But I wanted to say is like that's all I gave all my I think I said all I needed to say, and you guys pretty much summed it all up. So yep, that's it.
But yeah, overall for me though, it's like I don't mind that they were criticizing. I actually sort of like when shows sometimes like break the fourth wall and poke fun at their audience and stuff like that. It just the pacing, like, which actually is Emma Larson's biggest issue is pacing.
pacing.
But like, yeah, it just felt like the pacing over, like, it just the plot felt forced at times. Again, like how maybe the most popular book just from our journal entries, and everyone like one thing is like you knew me for. I was like, yeah, that's the point where like I can understand if it's like not foreigners, but just people far away that never actually met the main six that was crowding. But like it was literally people that are living in the same town. It's like, yeah, you've literally seen them save the world several times. You've interacted with songs and all with them many times. Yeah. It just felt like a very awkward, like we get what they're trying to do is make a comparison between the show, like they're trying to basically make a comparison to the show and the Brony fandom, but like the parallels just didn't fit too well with it. Which, yeah.
Then again, I just kind of felt like an argument to like your point about like why strangers in the like why it should have only been strangers. I felt like, except for Pinkie Pie's case, in which it was established earlier, but then again, there might be like strangers in the town who don't really see them. They only saw like the generic them saving the world. Like the journal, in a sense, is supposed to be sort of like a diaries into like the lives of the heroines, essentially, and the fact that like some of them had problems that we're dealing like for like over a year and such, and to some of them it might be super irritating, or like maybe to put it like a spark of fanaticism and seeing like how cool they really are, like based on like other people's perspectives and such. Like they might have like gone into like a zeitgeist of sorts, you know, or like this sort of news kind of showing like a bit of like the side of like how fads and popularity can really cloud the minds of like just common people who have little to no connection at all to the main six, as shown by how like there was not really anyone in the crowd I've noticed were like, oh, they're not close friends. I don't see any close friends in the main six, which kind of helped it make it a bit more believable.
Yeah, but still, like my main point though is like the way they present the story just felt awkward. Like, oh, what journal entries are now like the next like Harry Potter thing within the question. That just felt stupid. Like I felt that they could have worked in a better plot. Like say, I gosh, forget whatever the pin name for like the Harry Potter writer in that one. H.K. Yearling. Yeah, no, Yearling. The one that's in the show. If she like made her next book about the main six's adventures in Equestria, where they actually are fictionalizing it somewhat, or if someone makes like a play or something that's popular and like that's like gets people, but just like, oh, let's just book and overnight we'll become famous. Like literally overnight become. It felt like one of those like a sitcom and they just have a like random like become famous episode insert in there sort of thing.
Yeah, and then instantly take it all back afterward because, as everybody knows, fame is not even a little bit worth it. Why does anybody actually want it?
They want money. I think they want money more than fame.
or they either misconstrue fame for recognition / people looking at them and caring about them, which is the biggest misconception.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I feel like there's a reason that some people seem to revel in it. That's this kind of plot, or at least the kind of plot DC was talking about. DC willing to acknowledge, but I mean, I kind of agree. This episode can feel forced like that a lot because, yeah, I feel like it kind of just really wanted to get to those jabs, get to the metaphor, as it were. Like it was like that wasn't a byproduct of the point. That was the point.
Yeah, actually, because that actually reminds me, because I was just watching some clips from Batman the Brave and the Bold, and like the bat might like clip like things from that, which it directly attacks like the fan base, and folks find like, oh, like I think the final episode has him essentially getting the show canceled because there's too much weird, wacky like Silver Age comic stuff. He's like throwing all the stuff in trash, and like now we can only get to the gritty realism, and it ends up being like a Batgirl CGI TV show.
What?
Why
Unfortunately,
does all the campy Batman stuff feel like so self-conscious about itself?
but
No, you never loved me.
Unfortunately, though, we never got the Batgirl show. Instead, we got Beware the Batman. Oh God! Like you have to try. Like you sort of have to try hard to fail to make Batman a horrible show. And by trying to, I think the best way to summarize my thoughts on the show is they tried to make a 12-year-old kid named Anarchist the main Joker or antagonist of Batman in that series. I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
He was like, you lost my series. And then they made Alfred only 10-year-olds, like 10 years older than Bruce, and still a secret agent badass. It's like, I don't mind badass Alfred, but he's not he literally just he's younger than Bruce Willis or something like that in that series, where it's just it looks like Bruce Willis during the 90s or 80s, where he's getting a little older, but still Bruce Willis sort of thing. And because you know what Alfred's supposed to be he's supposed to be basically retired badass, not still bad. It's just what?
No, it also wouldn't make sense because how would it go with the Batman storyline and we all of a sudden applied a new butler? He's just only 10 years older than our son right now, so that would mean that they hired him possibly at 18 years old.
Yeah, it just again, I love badass Alfred, especially when they bring up in the comics, but it's he's badass like an old guy with a shotgun, not he'll fisticuff you to death. That show had so many things wrong.
He's not in the suit, but yeah.
Yeah, and so much thing wrong with the show. It actually works in the Batman, Gotham TV show because Bruce is a kid, so Alfred being slightly older or something taller, it fits there. But it's basically the age of that Alfred in that show, but when Bruce is a kid, but when Bruce becomes Batman. It's that's where it just feels weird. And then there's also the whole animation of that show was just god awful. It was such horrible CGI.
I haven't seen Beware the Batman, but I have very much fond memories about Brave and the Bold.
I'll show some clips of when this, because we had to end this podcast. We're supposed to be talking about Pony, but I'll show you some clips of Beware the Batman. Let me just say, it didn't make it. They had episodes that did not air, and they cut the show before they aired them. In the first season. And this is a Batman show, yeah. So, for a Batman show to be canceled before halfway through this first season, tells you how bad it was.
Okay.
Even Schumacher at least got 2 films.
Yeah, that's 2.
All right. Well, Schumacher would have been just forgettably bad if he hadn't made the second one.
Anyone want a bad credit card?
A bad credit card!
All right. But I guess see y'all next week.
Bye.
And remember, we now have what Fluttershy would say to us if she heard our criticisms.
Oh God!
Oh
that is a clip I wish I had several years ago.